Hey everyone, welcome back. We are into game week 191. So it's Monday here, recording this a little bit later, the benefit of which I have complete scores except for one last game later tonight. So we can actually look at the winning scores for most of this here. So let's just dive right in. So again, this one over here is last weekend. This was the midweek of last week, and then this is this past weekend that concludes in about 8 hours or so. So one of the things I'm noticing here is Global All-Star getting back up into that pretty pricey or pretty high amount of points that you need to win. So we're getting, kind of into that sort of normal stretch of the year where you pretty much need kind of 350 or at least like 330, 340 and above to start to win some of these bigger ones where there's a lot of people playing in. This is pretty consistent. Global U23, I've been saying this on and on. It tends to kind of skew downward. I think not only do you have less people participating in it, but naturally, under 23 players, they tend to get less playing time. They'll get subbed off and things like that. So this will stay slightly lower, but I just really like trying to compete in this one. And obviously, some of the cards that you can win are kind of up and comers. You can also get a bunch of nobodies that you've never heard of, but continues to be at least a relatively worthwhile league to get into. We saw Champion Europe come back, and they came back with a vengeance. I mean, look at these scores here. You needed quite a bit to win, even though there were very few people in it. The people that went in scored really well. So this league, as you'd imagine, tends to be the highest scoring league. It's got most of the star players play there. Most of the players that all of us kind of know and love and all of that, are there. So people stock up on these cards and they try and get the superstars, and then they compete in this one. So if we scroll back to when I started scoring some of this is like around here. You can see the winning points was consistently higher than the rest. I mean, look at in Div 2 you needed 400, same as here 412. Like 370 are just massive scores and stuff. So I think that we're going to get back to that. Let me come back here. And we're going to see these numbers just creep up because obviously this is such a small amount of participants. This coming weekend, when most of the big leagues return to action, this number will jump up, and of course these will as well. Challenger Europe continues to be a really competitive league. I think a lot of people are stocking up on cards here. Sorare is releasing teams cards into this space, and so I think that we're going to see this as a surprisingly high-scoring league compared to even in the spring, and because we're certainly seeing that over these first these few weeks. So. It's an enticing one. I certainly have some pretty good cards around here, and yet I'm having a hard time winning in this space. Champion America, pretty consistent, actually tends to pay off pretty well to be under 300, to get a card. And the amount of cards that they've flushed out through the system, you'd think that this would creep up as everybody seems to be able to field a decent roster. I mean, you can see how many participants there were. But maybe it's the quality of the league and the players and things like that, but the actual point threshold isn't too crazy yet. Champion Asia continues to be one of the most consistent. You pretty much need, it was lower sort of through some weaker stretches, but kind of similar to Champion America, you need a good sort of 300, somewhere around there, maybe 320 to feel that you can compete. And then the special weekly, this was Premier Liga. There were only 3 clubs playing. I'm kind of surprised that the points here were so high for only 3 clubs. I thought I had a chance. I almost came in last in this one. I think I came in 120th or something like that. It's a tricky one when you're playing with this, but there's still tons of value to always keep your eye on this one, and whether you can, often if you can even just get a couple of starters, you might just sneak in based on the high payout percentage here. So that's what we've kind of learned so far. Looking ahead, this is a bit of a dull midweek. Not a lot of games going on, as you can see, about 13 in total. plenty of participants, I suppose, but the payouts are just minuscule, so I wouldn't have high hopes for this one. I mean, throw your teams in, get some experience points and stuff. If there's some that jump out here, Champion Europe's not playing, so don't worry about that one. Challenger Europe, pretty high payout here with 6 clubs, so really the region with the most to pay out. And yeah, if you can get a decent roster in there, go for it. It might be your only chance of a reasonable chance of winning. So Americas, Asia, probably some of the lowest payouts that we've seen in some time. Special weekly, this one's interesting. So just minimum age 30. I thought, oh, surely I have a roster to throw in there, but it turned out I didn't. I've certainly have some age 30 players, but they're not playing this midweek. So it's a tricky one. This could be one where you have enough 30-year-old players to field a lineup, but only maybe 3 of them are actually playing. And I feel like if you have about 3 of them, 4 of them, go for it. The percentage isn't that high. It's only paying out, 8 places, but a lot of participants may find it difficult to field a roster of 5 playable cards. So give it a shot. I'm not expecting a whole lot on this, so we'll cut it short here. If you haven't had a chance, go check out my, I recently did some videos on this new player evaluation that I've created, a bit of a simple algorithm, if you will, and I go into the details of how it's made and show a little bit of how it's applied to players. And then this week I'm actually going to dive into a certain team and take a look and actually compare them and try and showcase how I think some of them might be good buys and some aren't. So go check out those videos. That kind of primes you for the logic behind it all, and then we'll see you soon.